Well, what can I say? I can say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, and maybe to a few of you, good night. You are here in Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. And every week I bring you a featured guest speaker. And tonight, oh my goodness, sit back, relax. But in the meantime, let me say hello again. I am Joy Ruffin. My work is as a style and leadership consultant, a signature style specialist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. It's all connected, it's all aligned. Love the work that I do, have a deep passion and heart for the work that I do. And one of my biggest joys is bringing to you each and every Wednesday night a featured guest speaker. This lady tonight, her name is Shirley Ann Felder. She comes to us with bundles and bundles of wisdom, knowledge, humor, laughter, everything combined in a life lived well and continuing to do that. So I just want you to relax and let us share with you the glory of life when you're in sync and in tune with your purpose, your mission, and your calling. So I want you to relax and help me to welcome our featured guest speaker tonight. Her name is Shirley Ann Felder. Shirley Ann Felder. Shirley Ann, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. You know, Shirley Ann, for those who don't know, we met in the Clubhouse, another platform that's just an audio platform. And I knew right away, I didn't know that you felt the same. And you shared with me that you did, that there was a connection here, a divine connection. And so here we are. Now, Shirley Ann, I love your title, Ordinary Greatness. That's what you're known for in many, many ways. So share with us a little bit about how you came to that and why it ignites you in a way that it does and others.
Well, it started way back when. No, it started when I was in a room with Les Brown and I was at an event and he was speaking, and he's the reason I speak today. He was speaking and he said, "Look to your left and look to your right. There's greatness in this room." And I looked to my left and I looked to my right and I said, "Oh my God, these people are great." And it took me a good few years to realize I was on someone's left and I was on someone's right, which meant I was great too. And it took me some time to walk into that, to step into that position in life to be great. And I realized that we're all ordinary people. And what makes us extraordinary is doing the work. What makes us extraordinary is understanding that we don't pass judgment on people and we listen, we observe, and we start with love and kindness. And so for me, that's what ordinary meant. And behind me, you'll see my logo. That's an
Yes.
ordinary woman with braided hair, with straight hair, with curly hair, right? And she even has boobs and thighs, right? So she's a real ordinary woman and she's running the race because I felt like when I started this business, we needed to win as women. We needed to win. It was time for us to win. And I felt like I just needed to break through and win. And it was after my bankruptcy, and I needed a transition, a pivot after 25 years of doing something. And I realized that I was an ordinary mom, an ordinary business person. But wait, what made me different, what made me have a niche or an edge was the things I was willing to talk about and be honest and authentic about. So that's where the greatness comes from.
Well, Shirley Ann, Shirley Ann, Shirley Ann, Shirley Ann. Let me say to you and to everyone who's tuning in now and those who will come for the replay, you started us off with a bang because I have always loved Les Brown. Never met the man, I would stumble over him most likely, but I always admired that saying, everyone has greatness in them. And then you took it and ran with it because yes, we're all ordinary, but we rise, we spiral, we scale to the extraordinariness that's within us. I love it. I love it. I love it. You mentioned so much there. There's so much to piggyback on, but let me tell you your life story, and then we'll bring in humor a wee bit later. But tell us about this inner forgiveness, this power of forgiveness. And you mentioned bankruptcy. How did you come to this, and what has it given you that you share with others to enlighten and inspire them?
So the thing about forgiveness, again,
Yeah.
something that took me a long time to understand because I have to tell you, I was an angry Black woman. I was.
Yes.
I lost my mother when I was 12. She was only 39. Why would someone do that to a child, right? So I was angry. I grew up in places that weren't familiar to me. So I was angry. And I realized as I became a mother, as I became a business owner. So I remember when I was a child and the fuel company didn't deliver us fuel and we were cold and we had to boil water to put heat in our house. I hated that fuel man all my life. Then I became a businesswoman. And when I had to stop service on somebody, I realized what business was all about, right? And they didn't pay you. But I hated him for so long. And you know what I did though? I called him for fuel service. When I became a grown up businesswoman, I called him and I asked him to deliver fuel to my business. And I did business with him for a very long time because I understood it and I forgave him because I held such anger and angst to him for not delivering that fuel and putting that stress on my mother and this family. But it wasn't his fault.
Oh, no, no, no. Well, this is the beauty of the power of forgiveness. Been there, Shirley, done that, because I had a lot of anger directed towards my mother, not knowing much of what I learned much later on. But the first thing I learned in forgiveness with all of the spiritual work that I've been on my path doing was that first you have to forgive yourself because you don't know what you don't know. But then when you begin to open up and see and realize, I understand it now, then you have to go back and apologize if you're going to continue to be all that you're here to be and to get to your greatness, because it is within all of us. I love that story because that's what it's all about. How now that aligns somewhat with inner healing work. I remember in one of the rooms that we were in, and both of us love and adore, and we're there as often as we can be on this audio platform only called the Clubhouse. One of the things that is a known fact is that many of us are always or ought to be in the process of this inner healing. So when that ties in with the power of forgiveness, but how did that align and connect with you and the work that you're doing now to support others to get to their greatness?
So I realized that I had a gift, right? I have the gift of gab. I realized that I have the gift of communication, but something was missing, right? And it was that inner work. And when you have to sit with yourself and actually like yourself and deal with yourself, it's a
Yeah.
whole different ball game. And you have to understand that if you don't forgive, you are carrying that stuff on your back. You're carrying it wrapped around your legs, and you're wondering why I can't get ahead. And that's why, because we keep carrying that. So I realized that there was inner work. I met people, I laugh at my friends today, but I have many of these people that I've bumped into, have become great friends of mine. They do healing work, and I call them my woo-woo tribe, right? Because I didn't grow up with meditation and forgiveness and calmness. I grew up grabbing somebody around the throat and telling them what I needed to say. But I realized that that wasn't getting me any respect. It was getting me fear, but not respect. And there's a difference between the two. And when I realized that when I meet people, hush, listen, listen to what they're saying, listen to what they're not saying, put it together and let them speak and accept them for who and what they are. And don't put your judgments on them. And when you can forgive yourself, then all of those judgments go away because most of the time we are judging ourselves, not really other people. You know, when you meet somebody and it's like, oh, I don't like her, stop, get a good breath on and realize that it's something about them you either like, dislike, envy, or want to be, and you just haven't decided how to get there yet. And so it's not their problem. That's a you problem. Don't put it on them. And when I realized that, to look into myself first, to thine self be true, when I realized that, man, that was the magic potion. That was the secret sauce. It really was.
I love it. Oh, Shirley, you do have the gift of gab, and I love it. I can sit underneath and listen to you all day and all night long. Let me share something that you spoke to, and you did it brilliantly. I've never heard it expressed so lovingly. Precise, clear, clarity was there because it is about know thyself. That's where it begins. Because when that rage and that anger and that hurt and that guilt and that shame and all of that is there, and many of us come with that, until we begin to get to know thyself and love thyself, everything, Shirley, every little teeny weeny tiny bit of us, then we have issues. And everything that we see reflected back to us, it's what's a part of us. So we need to learn how to love that part of us, every part of us. So I received that. How exciting. How did you, let's get to this now. I was going to hold off on this, but it relates and ties into what you just shared. When did you realize with all of this, and I like the woo-woo tribe, by the way, I'm part of that woo-woo tribe. I love the woo woo people. Without the woo woo people, I wouldn't be joy with the sense of abundance and a love for life that I have now. So I get the woo woo people. And there are a lot of people who need the woo woo people, but we're not going to go there. When did you decide and know you had the gift of communications, the gift of gab? When did you know that there was some humor attached to it? Because humor is medicine for the soul. When did that come to you?
Oh, Joy, what a beautiful question that is. So, in the ninth grade, you have to write that first term paper, right? So I loved Bob Hope, Carol Burnett, Fred Sanford. I loved them, and LaWanda Page. And so I loved humor. And as a child, not everything in my life was humorous. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, that kind of great life. It was an ordinary life, right?
Yes, yes,
And
yes, yes.
so and so I always wanted to be a comedian. So I wrote a term paper on being a comedian. And my English teacher told me that that wasn't a career, and she gave me a bad grade. And so I, of course, took her to the superintendent of schools, because judge my paper by its grammar and content, not by what my career is, right? And so I've always wanted to be a comedian. It feels good to laugh. When you make other people laugh, you have camaraderie. I mean, I have to admit this. I know we said we leave the humor for later, but laughter is, you're releasing oxytocin and endorphins. It's right up there with air, sex, and water. Come on now. You have to laugh. You have to laugh in this world, and it feels good. And when you release that laugh, it's like clarity. Woosah. Now I can go on to the next thing. And we need that. We don't spend
Oh,
enough time laughing. So I've always wanted to be a comedian. And when I met my partner from Clubhouse, we were getting to know each other. And I told them, like, they were like, what is the one thing that you've always wanted to be? I was like, a comedian. Since I was 14, I wanted to be a comedian. 2 weeks later, someone called me, a friend of hers. She knows people who know people. And I did my first stand up in October 22nd, 2 years ago. And I got paid. So I'm an official professional comedian. And I love it. Love it.
of course you do. Of course you do. Shirley, that is really something. You know what? You just mentioned something about laughter that a lot of people don't connect the dots, and myself included, until awakening. And that is this oxygen thing and what it does and what it releases. And I heard today in something that I was listening to, and you can relate to this. A lot of people, it was put this way, can't run with you because they run out of oxygen. In other words, that appreciation, that joie de vivre for life and that enjoyment of life, somehow it leaves, and then all of those other keys set in. Envy and jealousy and anger is still there, and they haven't gotten enough to know about themselves so they can release all of that and embrace who they see and who comes to them. So I like the way you put that. From 14, and that's when it starts, at that early age. You were able to get a knowing that that could be a part of your life strategy. I love that. Really love that. Let me ask you before we take a quick reset here. You mentioned in your verbiage to me something about ships, getting ready, getting your ship ready. And I really want to speak to that. So let's start, and then I'm going to take a little reset, and then we're going to come back and really expound on that, because I know what that means, but I want you to really expound that out into the audience so they will get it. So tell us what you mean when you say getting your ship ready to set sail. We know, but I want to hear from you.
So one of my things is, one of my favorite mantras is about being the captain of my ship, right? And we have many ships. We have workmanship, relationships, worships, hardships, right? Entrepreneurial ship and ownership. And they are our ships. And the wind of the sail sets on us all, right? Jim Rohn said that 100 years ago. The wind of the
Yes, yes,
sail
yes.
sets on us on. Now, how far we get out there in that ocean depends on the work we're willing to do. And it depends on the responsibilities and the accountability we're willing to take for ourselves. People blame other people. Oh, it's them, the haters. Stop it. It's us. We are responsible for ourselves, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
for me, in order for us to move forward, we must get these ships in order. And since I am an ex-professional garbage lady, I know how to clean garbage off of ships.
Shirley, let me tell you, I like your name. I say it over and over. Shirley Ann, let me say this to you. You use the word ship. I use we are our own agency. We are our own company. We are our everything. And until we get ourselves, whatever it is, the agency, ship that we're sailing together, we can't really do much that's inspiring and enlightening for other people and powerful so that they can get to what they need to do. So I love that explanation. I want to expound on that a wee bit later, but let me take a quick little reset here. And then I'm going to come back and I want to expound with you more on this. You're the captain of your ship. Because for us women, and I say this in love because that's all that emanates from me really, is that we are in the process right here and now to get more in line and alignment with our power. And that's the key word that I want to align with what you're talking about. So hold tight. Carill's going to put you in the green room and I'm going to be back with you in just a second. My friends, this lady, Shirley Ann, is absolutely phenomenal. She speaks her truth. She walks her truth. When I meet people, I bring you the best of the best. And I don't say that just because I'm bringing them to you. I say that because I feel it and I know it. And your assignment, you know, I love homework, is to connect with the people who are coming here to share wisdom, knowledge, and fun and laughter with and love with you. So make sure as we scroll through, you take a snapshot or a screenshot and you get to that person so that you can connect with them because we all need each other. That said, I've just started Facebook Lives every Monday. It's Joyful Mondays, every Monday at 3 p.m. And I'm wanting to build a community there, a sense of camaraderie. So pop in whenever you can. Leave your comments. I also have a little contest going on there, which I'm not going to speak about here. But if you go to my Facebook personal profile page, you will see what's going on. In fact, I have to put it there. And then the third Wednesday, this is every Monday, the third Wednesday of every month on my business page is Communicate to Influence. And that's all about what Shirley Ann and I are talking about. How do you communicate? How do you convey the essence, the core, the heart, and the soul of you? And hopefully with love and humor. That said, be ready and join me there because this community is going to be awesome. Shirley is a part of it and all of the other women that we bring. We're also active and involved and immersed in what we're doing, but we do support each other as often as we can. So make note of those dates and pop in when you can. Shirley Ann, I'm back with you because everything that you're sharing with us is so, I love the word power because it's a word that we as women need to get more in alignment with. I know that you work with men, women, children, everybody. There's no exclusion. I like that. Diversity, that's the key. But tell us a little bit more about this being able to set sail in your own ship, workmanship, relationships and everything. All of the keys that you know for sure now that people need to be more in alignment with.
Sure. So at the end of the day, right? If you do not know how to cultivate relationships, right? If you don't have a relationship with yourself, if you can't sit still with yourself for a half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour, Houston, we have a problem. That means you can't
Yes,
sit with other people either, right? So
right.
first you
Yes.
have to work on your relationship with yourself and then others. Learn how to get along with people. Learn how to let people be. If someone says something you don't like, okay, let them speak. You don't have to speak to it. If they're being rude, you can move yourself. Don't get a hostile. Don't get angry. Learn how to deal with difficult people, right? Learn how, if people are angry, I'm sorry you feel that way. What would make it better? Most people don't know. So they'll stop being angry, right? So you have to meet them with kindness and love. And then we talk about worships. I know this is a tough subject for people. Listen, I was born Southern Baptist, okay? So you don't play with God. But here's my thing. God is there's a God, there's a Bible, there's God, there's this thing, right? So the Bible to me is a set of guidelines and stories that if you go left, this happens. If you go right, this happens. But I'm not a piece of poop if I go left and right and go in the middle. Don't judge me, right? Let me do my thing. Let me look crazy. But don't tell me bad things are going to happen because I wear a shirt skirt or that if you do this, you're going to hell. Listen, we don't know if there's a heaven or hell. We can pray that all the things we know is right, but don't judge people. You know what? Love is hard to find. I don't care who you love, what color they are, what shape, what sex, what style, what nationality. If you got love, bingo, you hit the jackpot, right? So stop worrying about what other people are doing. Practice on yourself, right? And then, take ownership of you, take stock of you and take ownership of your own stuff. Mind your business. You will be much happier. So that's the stuff I help you get off your ships. All the things that our teachers taught us, the pastor taught us, our parents taught us, our grandparents taught us, because the world is evolving. We used to have the bag phone. Now we have the smartphone. So if everything is evolving and we still have the same beliefs and concepts, how we think we're going to get somewhere? We'll be what everybody is talking about. Stuck.
Oh my God. Well, you're making me laugh. Let me tell you this. You already know this, but our audience, many of those who will come now and later, they need to hear this. You mentioned whatever your faith or your belief might be, whatever ship you're sailing, your belief and your faith is yours. But when you begin to knock and disapprove and be judgmental of others, then you need to go back to the drawing board. That's what you're saying. I'm not being as politically correct as you are, and you're not being politically correct. But that's one of the reasons. Me too, Southern background raising, have nothing against God, the religion, but there's so many other religions, faiths, beliefs, spiritual. What works for you? I'm not knocking anybody's belief, faith, or whatever they're about. And that's where we all need to get. And you know what, Shirley Ann? This is where we're going. This is what we're coming into. Things are changing more than we can even begin to realize. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned something that a lot of people, because of this pandemic and everything, even though it happened 25 years or so ago, this bankruptcy. Share with us a little bit about the power, and that's a good word for this, how you overcame and rose above and began to navigate your way back to where you are today. Share with us, because some people need to hear more about that.
Sure. So I'll tell you what started me to come back was my first day in court, in bankruptcy court.
Yes.
We hear about bankruptcy and we hear it's doom and gloom and you've lost everything and it's the end of the world and you're a failure. You have got to be losing your mind. I'm in bankruptcy court and the judge and I call him, the guy with little people syndrome on the right hand side, the opponent people, are assuming that I've mismanaged money, assuming that I stole money, put it in a foreign country. Now you're giving me way too much credit for being super strategic and smart. Stop playing. I'm a college dropout. I don't know how to do that stuff, right? All I know is I put the money in, I invested it back into the business, I paid my employees, never missed a beat. And what happened is when the economy crashed in 2009, people owed me $285,000. I don't know if some of y'all know what that looks like, $285,000. Okay? But that's what people owed me in the collapse. So where are you getting that money from? You can't go back to the bank, but I was stuck in my own little pity party thinking
Yes.
what people had told me, oh, you're a failure, you've messed up. And when they told me that, asked me, where did you put that money? And my attorney was like, shh, I'll answer. I was like, no, you're not. This is my life. She can throw me in
Woo-hoo.
court, do what she wants. But
Woo.
let me tell you, I reinvested this money. I did not embezzle. I did not embezzle this money. I didn't squander this money. I reinvested it. I had the best equipment. My employees were paid, and the judge, clacked her little thing and said, your attorney will speak for you. But that day, Joy, I stood up inside myself and I said, no one's gonna make me feel less than I
Woo-hoo.
am. Do they know that I had 150 male employees, took 10 women from welfare to work, did over $65,000 in gross revenue, and I'm a college dropout and had a baby at 21. They done lost their mind.
Oh my
I'm
God,
here
Shirley,
to
Shirley
survive,
Ann.
and you can't belittle me and you can't make me feel bad. Now, when I got home, of course, I had that pity party.
Oh my
However,
God. Shirley Ann, Shirley Ann, listen, doom and gloom, pity party, not for you. We know this. And the way that you describe to us, by the way, hello, Sonia, welcome. Always good to be and share space and time with you. Sonia LeRae, my partner, is out there tuning in. Let me say that this doom and gloom, a lot of it that comes with what you did, you rose to the greatness in you. You knew that there was more and you could deal with this and you dealt with it. Brilliant. You see, there's so much doom and gloom and the pity party that happens when things like this occur. That's why I wanted you to share that with the audience, because here you are full of life, love, energy, wisdom, and you're wanting to share that. And you do share that with all the people that you work with. Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing right here and now with the people that you're working with before we say goodbye. And then we have a food for thought towards the end. Share with us a little bit about what you're doing now to support
so
so
what I
many other people.
sure. So what I do now, so my little spiel is what I do is I help women mostly, but I pray men listen. Sort through the trash in their lives, aka self-limiting beliefs and blockers. I was the profession at them. I was never smart enough, good enough, tall enough, bright enough, all of those things. And what I do is through a series of workshops and talks, I get you to what I call unearth your greatness. We're walking around on eggshells, on rocky ground, right? and we're uncertain about who we are and what we should be doing. But when you go through these series of workshops with me, you realize how badass you are. You realize that in order for you to make it to age 40, to age 50 today, what you had to do, you are as bad as you want to be. So stop selling yourself short and playing small. You are amazing, right? And so, therefore, you realize that we sit down, we go through some series of things, and then you get the epiphany and you realize that you have some secret sauce and you're ready to go
Oh,
out there and lather it all over the world. And that's what the work is that I do.
Shirley Ann, well, let me tell you, we were destined. We're going to collaborate when, where, and how, I don't know, but we're doing the same work, a different style, a different rhythm, a different technique, but it's all connected because we as women, and when you say you get them to see their greatness, you get them to, you use the word greatness, I get them to see the power within, because we are the bedrock. But what we must never do, and you alluded to this in the beginning of our conversation, let's not badmouth men. And you say you hope that the men are listening because they're not responsible, or they're not to, at this time in life, to say, oh, everything that's happened to me is because of them. No, just release all of that and start to move forward, which is what you're giving all of the women that you work with. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this. You spoke to it, but I want to hear it from your mouth. What do you find? What have you found thus far would be one or two of the major reasons that so many of us women don't step into our greatness, step into our power with unconditional, infinite love and no judgment? What have you found that to be? We want to leave a seed for people to be thinking about that.
So here's my opinion, my take on that. That
Yes.
we have to deprogram. You understand? How many
Yes.
years has this stuff been put in our head? We see skinny women on TV, so tiny,
Yes.
right? Well, most of
Yes.
us are not tiny. Stop playing, right?
No.
We see a certain stereotype of people. So what we have to do is moonwalk that stuff out of our head, right? And put new stuff in. So every day I'm listening to new things, new people, new types of learning, new types of teaching. I listen to foreign music because I want to be diverse. I want to be open minded. And so the only way that we can step into this is understand that you are your own island.
Oh,
You are unique. There is no one on the face of this planet like you. I don't care what you think. No one. You know what? Joy and I can talk about the same thing, but no one on the face of this planet can deliver the message the way that each one of us can about our life, about our story, about our secret sauce. No one.
Shirley, that's it. Let you end it with the right note because that's my assignment, your assignment, and many of the other women that we're connected with. You use the right verbiage, which I will take. I use it in a different way, deprogram a lot of that conditioning that's in our head. That said, my love, the time goes. We didn't even get to show your book and talk about your book. Kirill, if you can run that across, tell us how you want to leave us, Shirley Ann. What food for thought? This is a great book. She's going to put up the information. This is the International Day of the Girl. It's a great book with 12 women. And then in conjunction with that, we have something else that we want to share with you. So Shirley Ann, tell us about the book, how they can get it, and so on and so forth. The stage is yours.
So you'll see a link going across for Shirley online, and you can get the book there. And also, you can text to 845 244 5440 the word life, and you will get one of my favorite mantras that I live by. And we can connect anything you want to know, follow up, anything you'd like me to talk about, see, say. But the biggest thing I want you to take out of today is that stop playing small. I did it for a long time. I'm a professional. That's why I could talk about it. I did it and I was stuck, but I really wasn't. I didn't have direction. There are so many coaches. If I'm not your coach, find someone else, but I am your girl. And ask for help if you don't understand. No one knows everything. And no one, you're worried about people finding out what you do and how you do it. They can't deliver it like you. You are uniquely yourself. There's only one of you, no duplicate. Even if you're a twin, one's got a bigger ear, a smaller ear, a bigger toe, a uglier toe, whatever it is, you are uniquely yourself.
Shirley, you must come back. You must come back again and again. You and I have so much to talk, laugh, and giggle and just have fun with because you're delivering such a powerful message. It's my message too. I love the way you're delivering it. I send you much, much love. I'm going to put you in the green room. All the best to you always and much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. This woman, you must connect with her because she is a powerhouse and she's authentic. You know, this buzzword is still buzzing around and a lot of people are using it. It's not true. This lady, this woman, this female is authentic. I only align with the best of the best. My friends, the time flies here. I always try to stay within, but I always go over because I get excited. I get immersed in the conversation. And tonight we could have gone on and on, but we have to end it now. I end it with this. I'm sending you much, much love from my heart to your heart. Take it, embrace it. Be well, stay safe. All the best, my friends. Cheers.